Today, he's considered one of the greatest African players of all time. Sadio Mane has achieved pretty much everything club football has on offer. Not only that, he's an African Cup winner and was also named the best player in Africa at the 2022 CAN Awards. Not just that, Sadio Mane is one of the most charitable athletes on the planet, and he spends the bulk of his wealth on humanitarian projects. So today we're going to talk about Sadio Mane's life, how he started playing football, and how life was growing up for him. Before we get started, we want to share the sponsor of today's video. The OneFootball app is the ultimate football platform and is a must-have for every football fan, so that you can follow all of your favourite leagues, teams and players all the time right from your phone. You can be sure to turn on notifications for specific players to be instantly alerted when they score a goal or when they are involved in other breaking news. It is the best and easiest way to stay up to date with everything football. Click the link in the description down below to download the app right now. You won't regret it. Mane was born on April 10, 1992 in Sédhiou, Senegal. Sadio Mane grew up in the small village of Bambali in southern Senegal, a village with a population of just 24,213, about 5% of that of Liverpool. Growing up, he lived with his uncle, as his parents had many children and could not financially support his basic needs. "My parents never had money to send me to school," he recalled. "Every morning and every evening, I always went to play football with my friend on the street. When I was young, I only thought about the Premier League I watched on TV, only Premier League. It was a big dream for me." Mane remembers as a 15-year-old digesting how far he progressed from being a street player with stardust on his feet but a limited understanding of the game. "Since I was 2 or 3 years old, I always remember being with the ball. I would see children playing in the street and I would join them. That's how I started, just on the roads. When I got older, I went to watch games, especially when the national team was playing. I wanted to see my heroes and imagine myself as them." Sadio Mane's biggest inspiration to become a footballer came from the great excitement of the 2002 World Cup, when his country Senegal reached the quarter-finals in their first appearance at the showpiece event. They started the campaign by beating reigning champions France in what was a miraculous win. A lot changed for Mane after the 2002 World Cup, which saw his country perform at their peak. He then became part of a group of aspiring boys who started taking football seriously. "After the World Cup, my friends and I started to organise a tournament in our village. I became more and more determined to be the best and to win every game. Everyone told me I was the best in the village, but my family had never had a footballer. They are big on religion and wanted different things for me. When they could see that in my head and in my heart there was only football, I started to convince them, especially my uncle, to let me leave the village for a local town to know more before I go to the main city of Dakar, the capital of my country. At first, they did not accept Mane, but the more they saw how badly he wanted it and there was nothing else for him, they eventually helped me." His uncle and his parents sold all the crops from their farms to raise money for Mane. Sadio Mane's talent was so evident and inspiring, even people who didn't know him came together to make sure he had the best chance possible to pursue his one passion. Mane's uncle was his biggest supporter. However, there were other people in the village who helped him. When the youngster moved to the suburbs of Dakar, he lived with a family he didn't know. He was welcomed in a new family and made sure that Mane's only focus was to excel on the field. Sadio Mane, on his arrival in the suburbs of Dakar, inquired about the most popular football club in the city. The next day he was taken to visit the team. According to Mane, he can never forget his first day there. There was a sea of kids who had come to try out, and an older person at the club looked at him as if he was in the wrong place. He asked me, "Are you here for the test?" I said I was. He asked me, "With those boots?" He looks at them angrily. "How can you play it?" They were really bad, torn and old. Then he said, "And with those shorts? Don't even have proper football shorts." Poor Mane told the guy that these were the only boots he had, and when the youngster arrived on the pitch, everyone knew how good he was. He went to the local academy where he ended up scoring 131 goals in 90 appearances in 2 seasons. As a youngster, Mane was far from even the best Senegalese footballers. He was exceptional and lucky. This miracle came when he was picked up by French scouts during their mission in Senegal. Part of their goal was to visit the nooks and crannies of Dakar to seek out some of the poorest and most gifted footballers. More so, part of their goal was to relieve them and their families from poverty. But after seeing Sadio Mane, they were taken aback by his skills. Reports said that Mane was the poorest and most gifted player in the team. Mane himself proved them right by scoring goals when he was first told to attend a 2-day trial at the Senegalese football academy called Pied de Génération by the same French scouts. His success at the club marked a turning point where his destiny began to take shape. After exceeding expectations, he was sponsored overseas. These scouts took Mane to France and made him join French club Metz. He started playing professional football in France when he was 15 years old. Mane revealed that he did not tell his parents that he will be leaving Senegal to launch his career in France. Indeed, his family was previously skeptical about his dream of becoming a professional footballer. He had planned to give them a big surprise, so Mane, who was 19 at the time, decided to keep his move to Metz quiet. His mum, Satou, still thought he was at the Generation Foot Academy in Dakar when he called to say he was in Europe in 2011. "I only told my uncle. Even my mum, she didn't know," Mane said. The next day upon his arrival in France, Mane went to a nearby shop with some of his teammates and called his mother, who could not believe it. She was amazed. It was crazy. Again, she was so surprised that she called me every day asking if it was true. She still didn't believe me until I told her to go watch me on TV. She finally did and observed that my dream had come true. But all the excitement quickly evaporated. A pelvic injury hampered Mane's progress, and then homesickness found him. Mane was missing his home, but eventually managed to get in the right frame of mind. He continued shining for Metz and ended up representing Senegal at the London Olympics in 2012. A well-deserved move to Red Bull Salzburg happened, where he scored 42 goals in 80 games in 2 seasons before signing for Southampton. After continuously performing at a very high level for the Saints, Mane sealed a big move to Liverpool, where he instantly became a fan favourite. From scoring goals and providing a bucket load of assists, the Senegalese forward was the cornerstone of the Liverpool side that has achieved so much under Jurgen Klopp. After winning the Premier League and the Champions League, Mane eventually moved to Bayern Munich, where he's continued to perform the only way he knows how. While his achievements have given him a legendary status, we cannot ignore the human side of Sadio Mane. Rather than being consumed by celebrity life, Mane values community development more. He's quite famous for providing for not just his family, but for the rest of his village. He's donated £500,000 for a hospital to be built in his village of Bambali. Lack of health services is quite a problem in Senegal, and Mane intends to change that. When the pandemic hit, he donated £41,000 to the Senegal government. In 2019, he donated £250,000 for the construction of a new secondary school. At the same time, Mane ensures that people from his village always receive a monthly stipend, which just goes to show you how caring he is when it comes to uplifting those around him.